Hello, good morning, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of True Potential's Morning Markets on Monday the 11th of March. In today's video, we'd like to signpost some of the upcoming data points this week that financial markets are likely to be watching. So to begin with, we want to focus on some of the European inflation data that will be coming out this week. So this is done across the region. So we're seeing data points from some of the key regions like Germany, Spain, France and Italy. Now, we know last week that we saw the ECB, or the European Central Bank, deliver their interest rate announcement, leaving interest rates unchanged. Now, this data will likely influence when the ECB meet next, given that they've already announced their decision last week. But we also know that the ECB aren't just looking at price inflation data, because following the meeting last week, they discussed the importance of wage inflation and how those secondary rounds of inflation can actually then feed back into price inflation. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as it comes through during the week. Closer to home in the UK, we have the announcement of both fourth quarter GDP as well as the latest unemployment report. Now, this, similar to what we were mentioning with the ECB, is likely to influence the Bank of England in terms of their interest rate decision. Now, that interest rate decision comes next week, not in this coming week, the week following. It's unlikely to actually change the interest rate decision on the day, but it might influence some of the comments that come out from Bank of England members in terms of the timing of interest rates and the severity of those cuts throughout the year. Finally, the final region to cover in terms of inflation data is over in the US. Now, in the US, we're going to receive two forms of inflation data throughout the week. We're going to see CPI, or consumer price inflation, as well as PPI, which is producer price inflation. Now, once again, similar to the comments that we've made on the ECB and the Bank of England, that data is likely to influence interest rate outcomes in the US. Similar to the Bank of England at home, the US Federal Reserve meet next week for their interest rate decision. So once again, the actual prints that come through this week, unlikely to influence any actual interest rate policy changes, but likely to come through in terms of comments made by members of the FOMC. What's important as well about next week's Federal Reserve meeting is that we also get their updated forecasts. So that will give markets new information in terms of the Fed's thinking, in terms of where interest rates will be going, inflation, growth and employment. So that meeting will be of the utmost importance for financial markets. So thank you for watching today's video, and throughout the week we'll continue to provide you updates on those following data points.